What are you afraid of? Why does it scare you? Where did it come from? What does it make you? So, out here again. Really without no plan or anything. Kind of just here in the moment. I really didn't even bring my microphone and everything out here because I just wanted to, kind of just be a little more freehand with it. A little more mobile. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a plan for anything right now. Just kind of another moment of just speaking what's on my mind, what's in the moment. It's actually been kind of like a very chill day for me. I had a really cool night last night with some friends and shit. Just doing things. And, I don't know, I just had that urge again, that calling to just come out and, like I said, just speak what's on my mind. So I guess right now is just, I think one of the biggest things, especially just in my life period right now, is just fear. Just the whole concept of it and where I'm at with it in my life. And what that means and represents for me. And that's kind of been like a big thing that's been like sticking with me throughout this whole project so far. It's just fear, getting over those anxieties and things that and doubts that may be holding me back or stopping me from being my fullest and best self. But a lot of times those are just the things that I've learned are lessons. It's really nothing to be afraid of. I'm only afraid because I may not feel like or think that I'm prepared for it. A lot of times I'm not. But that's really the beauty of the moment. It's there to prepare me for whatever's next. It's there so the next time I experience it, I have experience. And I can move forward and with some confidence or with some type of knowing in myself, if that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, that's really just why I wanted to come out here, just to, I guess, just talk about that, I mean, even now, as I was coming out here to record this, I was trying to find a good spot. I wasn't sure if this was really what I was going for. I really didn't even know what I was coming out to do. But yeah, that's how fear can really present itself sometimes. It's just that moment of, it's a moment of unknowing. It's a moment of no security, There's no safety net there. It's just something new. But I also have a lot of fears that are aren't new to me. It's just things that have always been there. I've always been afraid of, or I've always let kind of get to me in a way or hinder me in a way. Even now, there's things and people that I'm thinking about that I don't know if I'm really ready to name right now. Maybe not necessarily because of fear, but But yeah, I have certain situations and people in my life that I want to get past that fear and that social anxiety of, just finding that deeper place of connection and comfortability. Like I said before, fear is just, a lot of times it's something new, fear, it's very irrational most of the time. You shouldn't really be afraid of anything because you're capable and you have everything you need inside of you. This is another big thing I've learned throughout this project and this process and really just in my life. It's all kind of culminating now as I'm what I feel like I'm on the cusp of the next phase and evolution of my life and my career and what I'm doing, what I mean and who I am. Um, yeah, the biggest question that's really been sticking with me lately during this project is just what am I afraid of? Like what really is it? What is the thing that's holding me back? You know, what am I afraid of? You know, and I kind of mentioned like social anxiety when it comes to other people and things like that. But I mean, I have many more fears outside of even that. So yeah, I just keep asking myself, what am I afraid of? And a lot of times when I ask myself, I really don't have the answer to it, or at least it doesn't jump out at me immediately, or I don't really give myself the space to confront a lot of those things, because like I said, it's fear, it's new or reoccurring, but I still haven't found that safety net, I guess, or that sense of comfortability and confidence and strength to deal with it. Yeah. So I just keep asking myself, what am I afraid of? Even now, I'm asking myself more and more to kind of see what pops up. I guess right now, as I'm thinking, and what's coming to me is just being vulnerable. You know, even through my music, just finding that next level, that deeper level, that deeper sense of self, or not even knowing of self, just allowing people to hear and to see and to find their own connection with my own vulnerability, to be vulnerable with my vulnerability, if that makes sense. To whoever's listening, you know, I hope you're following along, just kind of just rambling a little bit. But that's the beauty of this whole like project, and really just my creativity that I'm discovering as well, is just not really knowing what's next, not really having a plan, but trusting and being confident in whatever's there in this moment, you know. So again, I'll ask myself, what am I afraid of? Like, what is it? Is it a fear of not being ready? Is it a fear of judgment? Is it a fear of, I guess, loneliness? I don't know if loneliness is really the word, but I guess just being alone, which is something I've kind of just always kind of been in a sense. Like I had people in my life who loved me and I could call and talk to if I needed to, of course. But again, I feel like that number could be larger if I allowed myself to be more vulnerable, you know, allowed myself to reach those deeper levels with not just myself, but with other people. So yeah, what am I afraid of? Like, what is it? I don't know. I really don't know. It's really a lot of things, I guess. A lot of things, everything, nothing. It's just fear, you know. Like I said before, it's kind of just irrational most of the time. I might just be afraid of just being afraid, you know. But I'm at this point in my life where, regardless of whether I'm afraid or not, or how I'm feeling, I not only want to find that self-confidence and that self-assurance, just that self, just me, that being, and just be that, you know, regardless of who's watching or who likes it or whatever it may be, whatever those fears are for me. Because really, too, that's where the source of my creativity comes. Like when I get to myself in those moments where I'm writing these songs and really opening up, that's what it takes to really reach the stuff that gives me goosebumps, you know, the stuff to where I listen to it and I'm like, yeah, like people are gonna love this. People are gonna feel this. Most importantly, like even if they don't understand it, it may take them some time. I mean, shit, a lot of times it takes me some time. Like there's songs I go back to now that are unreleased or released where I'm like, wow, like just listening to what I said and how I sounded and taking myself back to how I felt. Or even a lot of times just like taking myself out of that whole experience in itself, just being a listener for once, not even looking at it as the artist, just looking at it as me, you know. But what am I afraid of? What am I really afraid of? I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. Nah, seriously though, I feel like I definitely do know what I'm afraid of. I think the bigger thing is how to deal with it, how to overcome that, how to just, it's like I know, like I read a bunch of books and things and talk to people and I can see it. I can see ways to overcome it. It's just a matter, like I said, it's just finding that strength with self, that comfortability in self, that self-assurance and reassurance, you know, to not be afraid, to understand that I don't have to understand. A lot of times it's not even really anything there. It's like when you're a kid and you tell your parents there's a monster in the closet or there's a monster under the bed and they look and there's nothing there. If they even check, because I mean, as adults, they know there's nothing there. They know you're just being a kid, you're just afraid. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes. I kind of feel like the parent and the kid. I feel like I'm just that kid going to the parent, there's a monster under here. While at the same time being that parent that knows there's nothing there. You know, it's just the imagination. It's just whatever it may be. Like really, the monster is me. The monster is the kid. You've created it yourself. The real monster is fear. You know? So what am I afraid of? I mean, what are we all afraid of? What is anybody afraid of? Why are we afraid? Is another really good question. Who knows? I mean, maybe we're not even supposed to know. We're just supposed to react or not react. Don't let it control you. Understand that it's just an imaginary monster. It's just it's something that doesn't really affect you unless you let it affect you. You are the monster. You know, you're under the bed. You're in the closet. You're the one hiding. But what are we afraid of? What are we afraid of?